There's a large chance we're living in a simulation. I need to talk about it right now. But first and foremost, the RL Lite is on, baby. Shout outs to Tanya Simpson for making that happen. I appreciate you, T, and Wendy Yates. Thanks for making all this occur for me as well. But going to dive into some charts right now and talk about something that's pretty spooky. All right, team. So diving into this, what we need to talk about first and foremost is the Qs, which is the NASDAQ ETF, and how it's breaking below, first and foremost, this hammer that came in on February 22nd, number one. And number two, we are breaking below the 100 simple on a weekly. Now, obviously, this could be a bouncing spot, very similar to how it happened in December of 2018 and also in March during COVID. Those both situations broke below and ended up retesting. Same with this and same with this and same with this. So we're going to keep an eye on this retest to occur. But if we do not hold this retest and we fail, this will be a pretty magnificent drop on the Qs, most likely. So we're going to watch this for the next 2 or 3 weeks to see how we interact with this level. But this is a very, very strong price point because this is a head and shoulders pattern at this point. My friends, on the Qs, this is the neckline. We've broken below it. And yeah, I am primarily net short in all of my accounts except for like a long-term investment like IRA type of thing, which even then primarily I have a lot of hedges on. But yeah, breaking below the 100 simple on the weekly chart, which is 321.64, is certainly weak. Now, here's another really fascinating aspect that I needed to talk about, and that is I'm going to bring up 2 charts for this. I think I can bring up 2 charts, and let's type in symbols so they don't have to be the exact same. And on the left, I'm going to pull up ARK, which is ARKK, and this is the Cathie Wood ETF that's been tracking, the innovation and so on and so forth. This is when she said that the bottom was was January 25th, I believe. So it was this day here, January 25th. She had a very public appearance across essentially all news networks saying that the bottom was in on the market and on ARK, and that was not the case. And both myself and Robert Falco came out with videos for RLT saying that was not going to happen. And you'll notice from a standpoint of just technical analysis, ladies and gentlemen, we broke below that support and all of that volume. Huge breakdown. We retested that and just kept rolling on over. The trend right now is short, and there is gargantuanly gobs of money to be made in shorting, buying puts, or just being in bearish, simply put. So the other interesting aspect is I actually can't remember a time where this has happened. I'm not being facetious. The short ETF, Total Capital Short Innovation. This is an ETF that was created in just November of this year, and it came out at $30 a share. It's now at $60. The thing that's supposed to be insuring the thing is now worth more than the thing it insures. That flip happened really on Friday, but also today most specifically, where this is now worth 60 and this is worth 52. This is wild. Absolutely bonkers in essence. And because this isn't a reverse split has not happened or anything of that nature yet. So this is really what you're seeing. And unfortunately, by the time you watch this video, you most likely will be a little bit too late to catch the majority of the bear move that's already happened on tons and tons of stocks. However, I do think we can go lower on the overall markets, and that would look like a pullback on this, which would be a retracement on this, and just continually playing the overall markets short primarily is what is likely to be the case. Now, what most people are asking me is, hey, Newsome, when do you think we will bounce, or when should we start looking to bounce? And over here on the Qs, if I look at a weekly chart, and we kind of just come back to the long-term averages, what I'm planning for personally, I'm not saying it has to happen, but I'm just saying it really could, will be about a 40% pullback in the overall Qs. I'll start getting more bullish and start really tiptoeing into some larger companies that I like a lot when it's down 30%, which will be about 280-ish on the Qs. When that happens, if that happens, which I think it more or less will, that's when I'll start tiptoeing into some positions like Amazon, Google, maybe Facebook, maybe Netflix, probably Apple, PayPal, Square. I'll start getting into some of those positions that I'm most likely and primarily out of right now and just day trading and taking advantage of the overall short move. When will I really get pretty bullish? At that point would be about a 40% pullback, or right now about 254, which is the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart. Again, it could take the rest of the year to get down there, which I'm okay with, but just keep in mind the Qs still have plenty of room to go down. We are below all short-term moving averages, 10, 20, and 50 on the weekly, And we have now, and we're breaking below the 20 EMA on a weekly. So the 50 EMA is at 266. So long story short, yes, I do think we're going to retest a little bit. We're going to have some areas where we test some levels, but I do think this is going to be a pullback that is going to be quite large. And I want to make sure that you're all prepared for the magnitude of the bearishness that I think could be coming. So let's go look at TEAM, ticker symbol TEAN. This was a stock that since 2016, essentially all it did was go straight up. It was up 1,400% from 2016 until October, November of this year. And since then has been pulling back pretty dramatically. This is the daily chart. And again, the overall trend right now has been bearish. You had two super small bull candles with a little meaningless gap up on March the 9th. That bullish wicked pair candle pattern played out with a bearish continuation. These are really the first bull candles that closed below the 10. So if you did play that short, getting in on Friday with a break below 252 or getting on that retest today, congratulations on team. Square. So Square, I do have some shares of Square in a longer term IRA. I am doing a really good job of hedging them, at least in my opinion. And I did sell a March 25th 135 covered call for $1.50. I'm going to use that cash to buy some more shares. Again, I don't think Square specifically is a stock that's going to go to zero, although it could. And I do think it's going to go lower than it is now. We have broken below the 200. And not only did we break below the 200, we failed the 200 simple on that gap up on earnings back on February 28th. One of the easiest shorts I've ever seen in my entire life. Why would you short there off the 200? Well, because, if you just go back in time a little bit and take a quick look at the technical analysis of the history of what occurred in this downtrend on Square last time I interacted with the 200 moving average. That was a spot to buy puts or be short or just not be long. So anyway, from here, where is Square realistically going to go? I think realistically right back down to this price point here at 82, which is where we bounce from here. But if it breaks that low, I don't see why it can't go back down to 40 or 50, which is going to be just hilarious. But I mean, that is a low level. So yeah, trend right now is still bearish on Square. Good job for anyone who's short off the 200 simple. Starbucks. I mean, apparently no one's drinking coffee right now, although I know we are. This is a large pullback. And during COVID, we had a huge pullback as well. I mean, 50% on Starbucks. So this is happening. This is also down 36%, but keep in mind it was down 50% previously during a worldwide pandemic. And Starbucks looks like it's going to try to do that again. So another 50% drop from where it was would get us to about here. So a long way to go, but that would be the previous all-time highs around 64-ish. So buy low, sell high. The 200 simple moving average, the comical moving average I was just describing on Square. If we do get a chance to retest that, which I think we can in the next 2 weeks, that would be a relief rally or a dead cat bounce. We trade it back up into that price on Starbucks, look to be bearish. Facebook, aka Meta Platforms, aka one of the worst name changes in history, is just getting absolutely squashbuckled. And I did have some nice bear positions on this one as we broke the 200 simple on the weekly, essentially taking out this bullish high wave candle back on February 4th. I did get short and played short positions on Facebook. I exited all my shorts at the open of February 24th. So I don't have any positions short right now on Facebook, but the overall trend is still bearish, and I haven't seen many stocks breaking below the 200 simple moving average on a weekly chart that did not eventually go a little bit lower. This is, I would assume, some version of a wave 3, and we can have a wave 4 of choppiness, but Facebook will most likely have lower lows ahead of it from here. And yes, I do think they'll be fine. I think they'll recover, but I think there's a lot of stocks that we have not seen the end of the selling on. Google on that list. Google gapped up and broke below two really nice bull candles right here. This downtrend has kind of been perpetuating by the gap up with amazing earnings and great news, making a new all-time high on February 2nd. I was quite bullish on Google until the very next day. And this gap up was so uniquely and wonderfully bullish. That lower shadow, the very next day, we took that out. Boom. I got back in bearish. I sold my longs, took a small loss, like half an hour, and have only been focusing on Google bearish ever since. Especially once it broke below this 100 simple moving average on February 7th. Looked to short a retest, which I did right there on February 9th. Bought March $2,500 puts on Google, and those paid out substantially, closing those on February 24th. Looking at where we are right now, team, Google, is days away from closing below 2,500, and I do not think that would be a strong signal at all on Google. I don't think we would want to short at that exact moment, right? That'd be a new low and 4 or 5, bear weeks in a row, but a retest in the next 2-3 weeks, I do think will come. And when it does come on a lot of stocks, that's going to be our opportunity to really, really just have a monumentally profitable bearish April. If that occurs, right? There's a lot of ifs going on right now in the markets, but I'm always ready for ifs. Ethereum, holding up okay for the most part, but overall trend is still bearish. My 2 levels to buy some ETH are all 2s, and then America's birthday, 1776. You still have the 100 simple on the weekly chart holding it up, and I am quite surprised that cryptos and specifically Ethereum are as strong as they are right now with as weak as the overall stock market is. I think that's a good sign, but I do think all roads point to lower on almost all assets right now. And then eventually this will be a buying opportunity. But right now it's just going to kind of chop around, bore everyone out of their mind, and then go lower. Tesla, 2 very, very strong key points to keep an eye out on Tesla. And that is the 100 simple on the weekly, which is 640-ish, and the 20 EMA on a monthly. Very far away from where we are currently. And I am only in puts right now on Tesla, except for a very small, longer-term retirement account where I've been buying a few shares. But Tesla breaking below the 200 simple, failed it yesterday, which was Friday. And when it took out this hammer, so here's your hammer, very nice hammer, right? Beautiful location, great spot. That morning it was supposed to gap up and actually open above here, and it did not at all. In fact, pre-market it broke down and took out the hammer low. Not only did it take out that hammer low, but it also took out this ginormous bullish candle from February 28th. That was a no-brainer, unquestionable. Do not be in bullish. Buy puts, short shares, or just don't be long. And it's working out okay. So I think next stop on Tesla, sure, we can retest, tomorrow or the next day. We have 3 bear candles in a row, so I'm expecting some buying to come in over the next 2-3 days. If it trades up to 815, I'm going to short the pants off of Tesla, and then cover around 728, and then maybe even ultimately 640 on ticker symbol TSLA. Next on the list is, well, we've already looked at this one, Sark and Arc, but yeah, the Qs. It's looking weak out there, folks. Make sure, please make sure you know and you fully are aware on how to trade markets bearish. You can get all of this education totally for free. I have nothing to sell you. Here. These are all free courses. If you want more premium courses, I have them available. I love money and money loves me, but I do not need your money to make money in the markets. Please understand that anyone around the world can have access to this education and to this material. I urge you right now is the time to learn how to take advantage of all this, especially this Hedging with Options program. You will pay for this program within the very first class if you have more than 200-300 shares of any larger stock at all. Team, the time is now. Start learning, start pouring in. You are amazing, and I will see you later. Bye.